One of the questions that I get asked often is from followers who just recently finished dental school or who have worked as a general dentist for a few years and are interested in getting to an endo program. And they ask me how they can get into an endo program and how to strengthen their application for an endo program. I can basically tell you about my experience and how I got into my endo program and what my program was looking for. Perhaps maybe you can use that information and apply it to you or any other program that you're interested in. The way I did it, and it was really not intentional when I did it, was that I was kind of in between two specialties. I really liked oral surgery and I really liked endo, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I didn't know which one I wanted to do. I was kind of torn between oral surgery and endo. So after I graduated dental school, I did 1 year of GPR. So I graduated dental school in 2001. I went to UPenn and applied to UCLA. I always wanted to be in Los Angeles. I loved LA. And I got into the UCLA program. When I was there, I did a bunch of endos, but I did a lot more oral surgery because the oral surgery clinic was right next to, actually we shared the same clinic with GPR and a bunch of other specialties except endo. The endo was in a different building, I think second or third floor of a different building on campus at UCLA. So we really never interacted with endo people. But the oral surgery and prost and a couple of other specialties, we kind of shared the clinic. So I did that. And before I finished the GPR program at UCLA, I was approached and offered a second year GPR. And at the VA hospital, West Los Angeles VA hospital. So it was too good an offer to turn down. They offered me the chief residency and they told me, I could do whatever I wanted and I could train the GPR residents and what have you. And I took it. They were paying me well, actually. The pay was really good. I became a federal employee and they paid me really well. So I did that also. And then I said, well, let me just practice for a couple of years while I perhaps maybe apply to different programs. I started actually getting recommendation letters to apply for oral surgery. I went to my attending at UCLA and the oral surgery attendings and professors at UCLA who had become to know, who had I basically got to know them. I had gotten to know them during my GPR year at UCLA. So I went and got recommendation letters from them. And when it became actually really serious, I really wanted to seriously apply. that was when I kind of had my serious moment, because it had just really become serious. I wanted to apply to oral surgery, and then I was thinking about another 4 to 6 years of oral surgery residency and training. And it was then when I really realized that perhaps maybe I wasn't I wasn't as much in love with oral surgery as I was with endo. Uh, the 4 to 6 years of commitment and intensive training really wasn't something that I felt like I could do. So that was when it really became clear to me that endo was actually something that I wanted to pursue. And so I went back to my attending at UCLA and a few other attendings, and I asked them to give me a new recommendation for endo now. So also my situation again was that I for personal reasons and also the love that I had for Los Angeles, I really did not want to leave it. I really didn't want to leave California, but I also really didn't want to leave Los Angeles and the kind of surrounding cities. So I only applied to the programs in Los Angeles. I didn't even apply to, for example, UC San Francisco. I applied to VA Long Beach. That was my number one choice because VA Long Beach was part of the federal government. Again, I would have been a federal employee with all kinds of benefits. Hey, good morning. I would get a good pay while I did my residency. It was a 2-year program. So that was my number one. And I was not hopeful getting into the VA hospital because everybody wanted to get into the VA hospital. Not only from people from United States, but also people from people with dual citizenship also wanted to get into the VA program. You had to be a U.S. citizen to be a federal employee. So you either had to be a naturalized U.S. citizen or had a dual citizenship. But you had to be a U.S. citizen. So the number of applications for VA Long Beach was really high, and I really didn't have much hope. Then I applied to USC, and I believe I also applied to the Loma Linda program, and that's it, 3 programs. I wanted to get into Loma Linda. Loma Linda was my second option, and USC was my third option. I wanted to get into Loma Linda because Dr. Torabinejad, he was the chair of the endo program there, so I really wanted to get my training under him. Well, I think the 2 years of the GPR residency really helped me. The 1 year at UCLA and then the second year at the West Los Angeles VA Hospital, that really strengthened my application. I think that's what I ultimately ended up at the VA Long Beach, my number one choice. And everyone was telling me, if they realize that you only apply to 3 programs and all the 3 programs are in the Los Angeles area, you're not going to get in, because they're going to tell you that they're going to think you're not serious. If you were serious about getting to endo program, if you really wanted to get into endo program, if you were really serious about it, you would apply all over the United States, East Coast, West Coast, you name it. You would apply everywhere. And they were saying that was the fact that I only applied to 3 programs, and those 3 programs were all in the LA area. That was going to work against me. But I just went with my gut feeling. I just said, I gotta stay in LA. I gotta stay in California. I need to stay in Los Angeles. Anyways, I got my interview. I got 3 interviews. I got the 3 programs that I applied to. I got 3 interviews. I got I'm not sure which one was first. I think USC was first, and then VA Long Beach, and then Loma Linda. And at the time, I was actually volunteering at USC, and also working as a GP when I applied to the endo programs. And I was actually teaching as the program director of the USC's GPR program at the LA County Hospital, where the GPR program was located. So I was actually teaching there as the program director. They needed a program director, and I said, why not? So I took some steps that I didn't even know that were going to help me, but then they ended up helping me a lot. So I remember the day that I got a phone call from from Dr. Davis, the program director at the VA Long Beach. After my interview with them, I got a phone call. I didn't know who it was. I just answered the phone, and I'm so glad I did. And he says, "How do you feel about our endo program, and how would you like to come join us?" I almost fainted. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I got into my number one choice. And then I get a letter from Loma Linda and USC that I wasn't accepted. I didn't care. I got into my number one choice. So it was one of the happiest days of my life, getting to the VA Long Beach program. It was one of the best programs in the nation, and we were getting paid. So they would only take two residents per year, and we were the envy of everyone else, because every time we went to a meeting, good morning. Every time we went to a meeting, and people would ask me, where I'm attending my endo residency, I would tell them VA Long Beach, and they're like, "Oh, you bastard! How did you get in?" I applied, but I didn't get in. How did you get in? So the other thing that I remember is that I was really motivated when I applied to the endo programs, the 3 that I applied to, and I started reading a lot of literature, papers about endo, I would read 20, 30 papers a day, and trying to memorize the names, and I would read everything. And during my interview at the VA Long Beach, I walk in. I have I don't even have my interview yet. The program director, Dr. Davis, takes me to a room, private room, and gives me an article, endo article, and he tells me, read this and summarize it, and I'll be back to get you in 20 minutes or so. I said, okay. So he gave me a piece of paper and a pen, and he gave me the article. And I remember reading the article, and as I was reading the article, I was going through the stats and everything, and the article didn't make sense. The stats didn't make sense. And but I was kind of doubting myself, and I'm like, the conclusion that they made, it made no sense based on the stats that they had provided in the article, in the paper. And I said, this paper was published in a really prestigious journal. I mean, people actually read this stuff before they publish them. There is no way that if this was a mistake, it would have been published. But again, I went with my gut feeling, and when I summarized the paper, and I pointed to the areas where I thought the authors had made mistakes, and I hand the paper over. And I had my interview. I sat down with Dr. Davis and the residents at the time, the four residents at the time. Two of them was gonna be graduating soon, and the other two were gonna be second years, and we're gonna be replacing the ones that were leaving. And Dr. Davis, when I got the phone call, the acceptance phone call, when he called me and he told me, I was accepted, he said, by the way, Ferris, did you know that you were the only one out of all the applicants? He said, we gave him the same paper. You actually were the only one who noticed the mistakes and had the guts to actually write them down. Write them down. So I think that really helped too. So I hope this video helps you guys. The points that I'm trying to make is that do your thing, what makes you happy, make your decisions. The decisions that I made, every step, the GPR, the first year at UCLA, then the second year at West Los Angeles VA Hospital, then my volunteer work at UCLA and USC, and then taking up the program director at the county hospital in Los Angeles, where they needed someone to step in and help out. Me reading articles, and I had when I was a dental student, and also when I was a general dentist for the few years that I practiced as a general dentist, I had collected x-rays. And at the time, we had those x-rays that we had to develop. So every time I did a root canal, I documented everything. And I collected those x-rays. And I had created a profile with all the work that I had done, all the root canals that I had done. And when I went to my interviews, I actually gave them those. So I think me being motivated, as I said, getting into the GPR programs, doing 2 years of GPR and teaching and reading and being so organized with all the endo, all the root canals that I had done during my dental school years, and then after, and being organized and really motivated. And also during the interview, I was just myself. They asked me why you only applied to 3 programs. They actually asked me, and I said, I love LA. I want to stay in LA. I was true to myself. And I think all of that people could see all of that, and they respected that, and they appreciated that. Well, the one program that I really wanted to respect and appreciate did. And I got into my dream program, really. It was such an amazing program. Dr. Davis, unbelievable attending. We would get paid for everything. If I want to try a new file system, he would just say, go ahead and order it. Federal government was paying for all of that. So I hope this video helps you.